This time on Grenadier Works, I complain about the Grand Prix, Krabby talks about the Welsh bloke, and I make the case for the Grenadier shovel. All right, welcome back, Krabby. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good. I had a phone call from my dealer. The car is imminent. That's the good thing. The thing I'm sorry about is I stayed up to watch the Grand Prix last night.
You know what? I stayed up. I stayed up very late. And it's funny. This morning, my dad called, and it was 11. It was like 11:15. And he's like, hey, like we always talk on the weekends. I'm like, yeah, I just got up. He's like, just got up. Why? That's late for you. I'm like, I stayed up all night to watch the race. So it was much later for me than it was for you. It didn't get over here. It was like 2:30 this morning, maybe something like that.
I switched the TV off at 11:30 my time. So it was like maybe on lap 40. I got to the point where I just couldn't watch the guys driving around the Home Depot car park anymore. And for people, for me, I wanted it to be so good. The only good view was from the driver's point of view. And I'm like, you can see all the stuff. Well, but all the camera angles, it was like they're driving through a tunnel surrounded by Armco and barbed wire. I'm like, what is this?
Well,
where's the spectacle?
Street circuits in general, you deal with that because of buildings and fencing, but
you couldn't see the buildings.
No, but
you watch Monaco, and yes, you can see I'm impassioned about this because I love Formula One. You watch Monaco, and it's like, oh, there's the Rascats. Oh, I'm up by the palace now. Oh, let's just go through Casino Square. Let's go and saunter down underneath, the other casino, the new casino, which it is, through the tunnel, round to the what's it called? It's called the swimming pool. That's right.
Yes,
around the swimming pool through the harbour, and then back up. And yesterday, it's like I don't even know where they are on the track if I didn't see the little red dots going around.
Yeah. I'm like, well, you have to remember, Monaco.
It was crap.
That was built 100 years ago.
It's a little bit older than that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, but when they did the onboard shots,
they were great.
Well, I mean, I know those guys are super focused. So it's a little different, but like it would be really easy to be distracted by all the blinking lights of not the track lights, the everything around it, like the sphere. It's just how friggin' like gigantic that thing is.
Yeah, and the people that weren't distracted were the spectators watching on TV because you couldn't see any of that. Yeah. And that was my beef. And I'm like, it should have been the spectacle. It's meant they want it to be the crown jewel of the calendar, and I'm sorry, man. You got a fake paste diamond.
Yeah, I didn't realize. So I knew they spent an absolute fortune. I didn't realize that
500 million. I heard.
Yeah, but that the quote unquote home office of F1 U.S. operations is in that building. That's going to be a permanent building. The Paddock building is now their like little headquarters. Wow. They said that last night.
Yeah.
Because everything else gets taken down except for that one, the paddock and the garages.
Yeah.
I thought the result was
don't even know. I don't know who won. I switched it off and put For All Mankind on. That's where I got to. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to watch an Apple drama.
Well, ultimately Verstappen won.
I think he was in the lead. The Ferraris were split by about 15 places.
Well,
I switched it off just when Hamilton went into the pits and came out second to last.
Yeah.
Like,
ultimately, Max wins. Charles has a fantastic final 2 laps behind Checo and passes him about 2/3 of the way through the final lap to take second on the podium. And then Perez took the bronze. So it was an interesting weekend. I watched almost all the coverage. I mean, I would have been pissed if I was there as a fan and not gotten to see any practice and then get kicked out of the stands.
I was going to go on Thursday for the first practice.
You had said
Yeah, the tickets were, I think the cheapest I saw was like $130. And I'm like, man, I'm just going to get in the car and barrel on down there.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't, because it lasted 8 minutes.
Well, right.
And to add insult to injury, they gave people a credit in the Formula One shop. What was it? $200 credit. It's like, okay, I can buy a baseball hat and half a T-shirt.
Right.
Because
for $200, yeah.
It's not the most cost effective. Let's just say that the prices are quite grand.
Yeah, and I did see this morning, I don't know where, it was Car Buzz or one of those sites I check, a class action lawsuit has been filed by...
Only in America.
By spectators who had tickets for the practice sessions. Only in America.
And the lawyers will take 80%.
Yep.
And the individual customers will probably
get $1. You get that card in the mail. Yeah.
I was going to say $4.95. It's enough to buy a half a macchiato skinny soy latte at Starbucks.
Yeah. Basically, though, what it said was, it's not just a matter of, let's just say the practice day ticket was $200. Let's just say that's what it was. Well, it's not like you just pop in and pop out. I mean, these people had to travel there, get a place to stay, everything that goes into it, on top of not getting to see. But the one thing I read, it said that the marshal, not the marshals, but like the sort of crowd control, the people running the stands and stuff, are unionized. So
yeah, it's Vegas.
Oh, yep, we're up. So everyone's got to leave. So then they kicked everybody out.
Wow. But okay, so imagine you're a high school teacher, as everybody knows. You would have flown in from Jersey. You decided that you couldn't afford the $5,000 for the actual race, which incidentally got discounted to about $800, was the cheapest the last time I looked. So you've taken a day off work, at which point it's costing you money because you've got lost salary, because you've already used all your days going.
Don't tell anybody that.
So other things that you've done in the past. So it's costing you money to go there. So you've got a day's salary, which you're like, oh, I'll set this up. So you've got your return flights, which even Frontier and Spirit would have gouged people on.
Yeah. The
hotel, which, well, let's just say Vegas is known for inflating prices when certain things happen.
Absolutely.
So you've been gouged on your hotel, you've been gouged on the flights, you've been gouged on the transport from the airport to the hotel, the food and all the rest of it. And then you go and you watch your qualifying because you're like, yes, I'm going to watch qualifying and the practice. And it was 8 minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
So you've not just spent money, but you've lost income as well by going and attending this race that has been taking place in an industrial estate car park.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, and it looked terrible.
Yeah. It looked a lot better than the footage from the early 80s of the Caesars Palace Formula One Grand Prix, which was literally in the parking lot.
That was in the car park.
Like literally, like...
I read an article about that.
They showed an aerial photo. I don't know if it was from a helicopter from a high rise, but sure enough, it was just like in the parking lot.
Have you ever been to Caesars? It's a really big parking lot.
Yeah.
It's massive.
I thought the whole thing, it got off on a bad start, obviously, with the whole practice thing. I felt bad for Ferrari.
But I do and I don't. I mean, that was luck, and it was terrible luck, and there's rules, and that's it. And
yeah, but it's still shit.
That's just, it's the roll of the dice. Literally in Vegas, they crapped out.
Yeah, I was glad. So I don't know, but you would have seen it if you watched the first 40 laps.
No, I didn't. I missed the first 15 minutes.
Oh, well.
I thought it started at 10:30 and it didn't.
No, it was 10:05 or.
Oh yeah, so that's how little I watched. I'm like, okay.
I checked when I got up. Lando was in it. Lando wrecked pretty hard. Was taken to the medical center and then was taken to hospital. But was released. Everything was fine. But he took a pretty good shot.
Yeah, he needs to drive a Millennium Falcon a bit better.
Yeah. So it was, and that was the other thing too. Like, did you see the Alfa Romeo livery? You probably didn't notice it because it looked just like a black Mercedes. It like everybody else had cool, like neon looking lights on it and stripes, and theirs was just all black.
So Alfa Romeo were running a car service around the F1 track.
Basically, yeah.
Oh my gosh! I wonder how much that cost.
Yeah, it was.
Nothing's cheap in Vegas right now.
No. Now, maybe on a Tuesday in the middle of August when nothing's going on.
That's because it's 120 degrees. Correct.
Which, when it's 120 degrees, tire temp is not an issue. I'm
glad you're on this because in their right mind, why would they have it in you? The high desert is not very warm in winter.
No,
we've got climatic records that go back about 150 years at this point for that city.
Flip flop it with Miami earlier in the season.
You're not in fear of a hurricane coming through?
No, I mean right now it's the penultimate race. And I don't know if you'll be able to steer away from the money in Abu Dhabi to make that, to switch and have Vegas be the final race, but it'd be even worse next week.
Yeah, but Abu Dhabi is actually a pretty good race.
Well, no, I know.
It's a good track.
So I don't see them doing that. So I don't know. It just didn't make sense.
And you've got Ferrari World in the middle of the track in Abu Dhabi.
Yes. Yes, you do, which is pretty amazing. Just a related, but one that I don't put a lot of stock in. There's a moderate chance I might go to COTA next year. So a friend of a friend has a salvage business, and not salvage like it's like, you know what? He's the kind of guy, he's been on American Pickers. Like he knows those guys. Like it's that kind of salvage. And he has a big thing down in Texas.
The one where the guys go through the house. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's been on the show a bunch of times.
Oh.
So
that's actually a fun show.
He has a jersey set up here in our town.
Has he done Storage Wars?
Big thing. No, that I don't know. But he has some connections down in Texas. He's outside of Austin. So I might try to finagle a visit. I think of the 3 North American ones or the 3 US ones, that's the one I would want to go to anyway. I think it's the most authentic of the 3. It's by far the most authentic of the 3 because there's no fake water painted. There's no fake boats. There's no, there's none of the Vegas, all of that. And there's good barbecue in Texas.
Yeah. Long Beach holds a Grand Prix. It's not an F1 Grand Prix, but
I love watching that one. When I was a kid, especially. It used to be great.
It is. I'm going to take the boys down in spring.
Yeah.
But it has hosted the Formula One.
Yeah. Way back in the day, right?
Back in the day when there were hay bales at the side of the track.
Yeah. A little different than Armco. But, 3 races. Yeah, I know geographically we're a very large country. I hope they don't oversaturate the market. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of pushback internationally from what I'm reading. And my friends all over the world are like, why does America get 3 races?
Right.
And then you get into the whole conversation about, well, it's owned by an American consortium.
Yep.
It's the biggest, one of the biggest consumer markets in the world, blah, blah, blah. You got the geographical size of it. But then Australia has 1 race.
1 race, yeah. Right.
Anyway.
But it is what it is. I stayed up. It was a very interesting experience. Allegedly, it's a 3-year contract with a 10-year guarantee. So like, even though the contract they sign is only for 3 years, they are committed to 10 Las Vegas races. So
now, is that the contract to Vegas or from Vegas? So like the city contracted F1 to come in for 10 years?
I'm not sure
or
which
F1
way it goes.
contracted the track for 10 years? Because
there's
that break clause, it falls very differently depending on who you are.
It was stated multiple times during the broadcast throughout the weekend, though. So,
wow. Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's going to have to adapt some. I mean, the things certainly went right and things certainly went wrong. So hopefully it's a better product next year. Donny Osmond sang the national anthem. Really? Like you couldn't get somebody a little more exciting than that?
I'm just glad it wasn't Celine Dion.
Well, she's Canadian. They say her.
It doesn't matter. That song would have gone on and on.
Yeah, I know. Which I thought I was disappointed in the grid walk because you didn't get to see it then.
I didn't see any of that stuff. I got the timing wrong. And then when I put it on, I switched it off after 20 minutes out of disgust because I can't watch this.
Yeah, well, it was.
I was really appalled. For me, it's like I'm going to be generous and say a 3.5 out of 10 for the entertainment value for me.
Well, it was the grid walk was interesting. It was so crowded. There were so many people. And Brundle was like, how did all these people get passes? And then he's like, oh, I forgot it's American, blah, blah, blah. But there was a ton of people. Shaq was there. He was easily recognizable. They made Martin interview some guy. I have no idea who the guy was. And they must not have either. Because like Abramovich was there. Yeah, the soccer player. When they interviewed him, up came his name on the screen.
Yeah.
When they interviewed somebody else, their name came up on the screen. He's talking to this other dude. I have no idea who he was.
He could be a forum member.
It could be. It could very well be.
It's Dave B.
Maybe that's where he's been.
That's where he went. He's like, I've got to go to America. I'm out.
Right.
Drop the mic.
Didn't have enough of one commercial entity, so went to a bigger one.
He upgraded.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was the Grand Prix. That was Vegas. Abu Dhabi next weekend, right? Or not? Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, next time.
And then we're done. And then hopefully
just closing this out, I really hope that Andretti get the team.
So
and
do
Cadillac come in.
100%.
Number one, I mean, it's Andretti. There's not many people.
It's a brand name.
I mean, my wife doesn't know anything about racing. It's just a car that looks a bit weird and has only got one seat. And she knows Andretti.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just the surname. It's like, oh, Mario Andretti.
Right.
It could very well be from Gwen Stefani.
Gwen Stefani.
And didn't she do a song about Mario Andretti?
I don't know. There's a lyric in a Tribe Called Quest song where he says, lyrically, I'm Andretti on the Momo, meaning the steering wheel. I only have one No Doubt album.
I picture you driving just like Mario Andretti. There you go for American pop culture.
All right.
Gwen Stefani. And the track, for anyone that's listening, we'll give Gwen a little bit of a plug here because she needs it. So it's called Crash. There you go. All right.
So I suggest that we'll track down the song name of the Tribe Called Quest song where Q-Tip delivers the line. But regardless.
Not Sammy Hagar.
Not Sammy Hagar, who people are going to learn about. I don't know if they've already listened or they're going to listen, but there's a little bit of Sammy Hagar for you. I'll be honest, Sammy's a pretty good connection, I think, to the Grenadier. I can't drive 55. Now, I haven't driven it up to that speed yet, so we could keep that in mind, too.
I did a test drive, and somebody had it up to 80 on the freeway. And, it was all right.
Yeah. I have no concerns at all about that stuff.
I'll see pretty soon because apparently mine is inbound. I had a call from the dealer yesterday saying that I'm one of the lucky people that's going to get my car this year, and if I'd like to buy any more accessories. And I politely said, thank you very much for the call. I think I've spec'd it to what I actually want, and I don't want to change it right now.
All right, well, let's talk about your spec. Now, you and I behind the scenes had said we were going to run a contest where see if people could guess your spec, but that ship has docked already.
Yeah, literally about 2 weeks ago, apparently.
Yeah.
So
besides the color, I don't know your spec. So
right, so I've gone for the Eldrit Blue with a white roof because that was the trade-off from getting an old Bronco from the boss, aka the wife, and the two boys. She recruited those guys to outvote me because I wanted the green. The 7-year-old just followed mum because it looks cool, and then the 3-year-old followed the 7-year-old because he wanted to follow his big brother.
Right.
I tried to intervene, but I was basically outvoted. Mr. Chips wasn't interested in casting a vote, so yeah, that was me.
Well, before you even go on, station wagon, trial master, field master.
Trial master.
Trial master. Okay.
No, trial master.
Yeah, trial.
Not master.
Not trail.
No, trial.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
Oh my gosh, that's the accent. It's the Jersey accent.
Yeah, I said trial.
Trial master, leather seats with the, I'm going to call it white insert because they're very, very light. They're the same color that HP and Canon and everybody use for the printer bodies. They're that gray. Could be white.
That could be white.
And they're really nice in the flesh.
Yeah, agreed.
What, these 17-inch alloys?
Mm-hmm.
I've gone for the winch, which will be a contentious decision.
Yeah, much discussed.
And basically, I was like, do you know what? If I don't spec it, I'm probably not going to install it. And the warranty as well.
Yeah, that is big. I went back and forth, and if you can check, there's a couple threads, and I debate it. And then after I read somebody's take on it, and I was like, yeah, maybe I should have. Maybe I shouldn't have. I mean, I didn't. Maybe I'll regret it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll see. It's
a ridiculously short rope, but you can extend it, and it, as everyone says, you just reset a lot more. So anyway, I was there. It's like, I want the winch. Actually, I wanted the flip down number plate cover. That's
more than the winch itself.
Didn't get it on camera, but that was the thing that I checked out when we did the test drive with Greg, and I noticed he started laughing. And I'm like, yes, you fitted it on this. He's like, yeah, we did. Because you're not allowed that in Europe because the safety regs for the passengers or the pedestrian regs. Right,
because that license plate holder is going to make all the difference between dying or not dying while getting hit with a Grenadier.
Yeah, it's one less laceration. Yeah. But in the world of, Ford 3500 Super Duty dualies, then it doesn't really matter over here. So. No. And obviously with the winch, you get the high load panel. You get the NATO socket on the back, which some people have obsessed over. And I had to put carpet inside. Number one, I don't think I could get a car that costs that amount of money without carpet past the boss. She'd be like, what did you buy? And number two, it's the sound deadening. And it makes for a much quieter environment. And I got the carpet mats as well. Yeah. Because I will probably get the WeatherTech ones when they make them.
That's what I'm waiting for. Which will be the
tub insert. And then you've got the carpet mats as well, just for if we actually go somewhere nice.
Yeah.
To make me feel special. It's like putting a bow tie on.
Okay, I'll take your word for that. Let me step back a second. Do you have any dealer install add-ons? Like, did you get the checker plates?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Roof rack?
Nope.
No. I will literally injure someone if they attempt to charge me to install my rubber mats. Injury will occur.
Well, you get to tell everybody about it on this podcast.
Yes, and that will be well known.
Well, it will be for the 3 people that listen. So
yeah, well, my dad, he knows.
Well, that's it. Well, your dad definitely won't buy a car from that dealer then.
Correct.
If they charge you to install the mats, which who knows, they may do, they may not. There's the other thing that I did option, and I will be upset if they charge me an install fee. Is out of sheer principle, it's the most unique option I think on any vehicle currently on sale. Domestically to a normal person, and it was a shovel. I had to get that shovel.
You bought an Ineos shovel.
It's not even an Ineos shovel. It's made by Front Runner, I think. Who shovel do the rack? Is it Front Runner?
Yeah, Front Runner does.
Front Runner. It's a Front Runner shovel.
No. Rhino rack.
Rhino rack. So it's Rhino. Anyway, Front Runner just had a plug. So it's a Rhino shovel that Ineos buy, and then they sell to the dealer, and then the dealer sell on to you.
So you probably paid twice as much.
Probably 3 times.
Yeah.
It was $85 apparently. But anyway, it was a mere drop in the ocean compared to the purchase cost of the vehicle. And I was like, I have to buy a factory shovel with my new car.
Okay, but you don't have the roof rack.
No.
So where are you going to mount said shovel?
I think I'm going to work out with using the airline track on the side or the utility rails, or I'll just throw it in the back with the dog.
There was a thread this morning, someone, I don't recall who, mounted his UHF aerial using the utility belt right at the back, right at the end of it. And it looked really good.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to come in and put in a mobile, the cell service extender. I can't remember the name of the company now. So I'll be putting one of those in the car, which is sad, but that's a reality. So you work around it.
That's just reality of life.
But with a shovel, what I'm going to do is all the patches and stickers that you get from the places you go to, I'm going to stick them on a shovel. So it'll be like the souvenir trophy shovel for the vehicle.
It is a decorative. So now we're saying that not only did you pay a lot of money for said Sharp,
$85 shovel, before tax and dealer incentive.
Well, it's currently $90 now.
Oh, it's gone up.
I just went on the website. It's a heavy-duty, heat-treated, high-carbon steel spade that has been zinc-plated for maximum strength and rust protection.
That's right. And it's going to look really, really good with a load of stickers on it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
In 50 years' time, when I'm no longer on this earth, that will be the one accessory that people will want in the build sheet. For one of the first vehicles in North America. It will be. It's like an original Land Rover toolkit from a Series 1.
But it's not.
It is. It's a shovel.
Granted, I was not alive in 1948. But like most of the toolkits that came with cars, you couldn't just go to a store and buy. But you can just go buy this shovel. It's not a unique only to, you know what I mean? It's not a bespoke for the brand shovel.
Do you know this?
You just told me it's from Rhino.
They may have done a special thing. It could have a little... It could have something laser etched into the handle. It could be
someone with
plaque.
a laser etcher could just do it himself and pretend it was there. Oh, wait, sorry.
Possibly.
It
may have a different color blade. It could be the Grenadier red on the blade instead of the standard oxblood or whatever color that they use.
Well, the picture that I just saw on their website, it just all looks steel colored.
So it's not a painted blade?
No, not the one that they're showing a picture of here.
Oh my gosh, you're crushing my hopes here.
Yeah, it looks just like...
and this is where everyone's going to be like, you're such a weirdo, Stu, because we just spent 10 minutes talking about a shovel.
You need a shovel. Like, I get that.
No,
in terms of an off-road vehicle.
You need 2 shovels because you never want to be the one that's shoveling on your own.
True. Well, that's what friends are for, right?
Good friends.
Well, yeah, good friends.
Fair weather friends will just stand and lean on the shovel and watch you. It's that classic thing of if you go anywhere in the world and you watch somebody digging a hole, there's 5 guys commenting on how they could do it better and what he's doing wrong.
If you're in America, there's it's all unionized, so that's their job. All right, so I just went to rhinorack.com, and that same shovel is $77.99, or at least it looks exactly the same. And
so we got a deal.
And it's equal. No, you didn't. It was cheaper if I go to Rhino Rack.
How much are they charging to deliver it to you?
That I don't know.
Oh, see.
It doesn't look any more spectacular than...
I'm telling you, it's going to be the breakout option that when all the numbers are crunched, it's like 95% of the people got the shovel because they know it's so good.
I'll take your word for it, my friend.
Incidentally, I did not get the side steps.
Yeah, and that's been a very, very, very big topic of discussion. Now, when you and I drove the first ones with Greg that day, it did not have anything.
It's a bit of a hike to get in it. And the kids are going to struggle. I know that.
Well, at least the kids can get a running start.
What I am going to do is I'm going to get the a step to put on the tow hitch on the back. Oh, that's right. I put the receiver on the back, so it's got the tow hitch as well, and all the electrics for that.
Right.
So I'll get one of those steps, the plastic ones that go in the socket.
Yeah.
And then obviously on the left-hand side, it's the kid door, and that's what I've sold it as. And they're very excited to have a kid door with a ladder on it.
Absolutely.
Or the dog door, depending on...
Who's with you that day.
Who's with you, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that'll make Chips feel special if you tell him it's the dog door.
I don't think he'll understand.
Well, he has a dog door in the house, so he'll understand.
It's true.
Well, that's a pretty good spec. I need a rock rail that can work as a step, not a step that can work as a rock rail.
Even if that means having something that you bolt on.
Yeah.
For normal use, and then when I'm go Yahoo out in the sticks, then I'll unbolt the side steps from the rock rail. That's if somebody's listening, and that's the version that I would like.
Yeah. Someone did post that they have a setup like that on their FJ. Somebody, and again, I read all the forum threads, but I don't remember people's names, and that's exactly what it is. It's a bolt-on thing. It stays bolted on until you need it to not be there.
So, which you think about it, the old Series Land Rovers, it was a little kickdown.
Yeah.
The side step. I'm not saying that those are rock sliders or rock rails, but it was a kickdown step.
On my Series, I had galvanized steel, and it really wasn't, I mean, it is a rock slider, but it's basically just the rocker panel. Like it's just a metal bar. Yeah. It looks like it's part of the body. So it provides no step at all. I mean, it's completely flush. Mm-hmm. But then the kickdown ones just sit underneath them. All right. So you have the checker plate. Now that's a dealer install.
Yes.
Any idea what they're charging you to install that?
No, I haven't asked them. I'm just going to wait and see if I'm pleasantly surprised or not. And this is something I was thinking yesterday is once the rest of the world spec matches the US spec, for the safety systems and everything that has to come in. What's stopping you importing the vehicle? Because it's the same engine, it's the same tune. All you got to do is get it inspected. So you could buy it in Germany, send it here, pay your import taxes, which is 2.5%, I think, 3% or something, and register it here because it has exactly the same safety systems as the European ones. If they're holding true to, we make one vehicle on the global thing. And then obviously like Australia, they modify it with the indicators or turn signals on the front wings.
Yeah, with the exception maybe of something like that where we have to have the bulb has to be red instead of orange or something to that effect. But yeah.
So that's an option. I do know that the members in Brazil are actively looking at working out which is the best market to buy their Grenadiers and actually import them down south, which is a really interesting idea. Well, because there's no sales and support there.
And it's Brazil's left-hand drive, right?
Yeah.
So any of the European countries or Canada or America.
North America.
And yeah, it would just come down to cost.
Yeah. Which also goes into the thing, and I was thinking the other day, it's like, we already know that people have shipped these cars all over the world and they're doing massive trips.
Yeah.
So the warranty, and I don't know if this has been answered, but if I buy my car in North America, on there it says every year it has to be inspected by an Ineos dealer to maintain your warranty. Okay, so if I'm doing a round the world trip and I'm going away for 2 years out of the period of the warranty, if I get it inspected by a dealer in Australia, let's say, and they say it's fine, will the US warranty honor the fact that the Australians have looked at it and they say it's okay? I don't think that's being addressed anywhere.
My guess, if I had, I don't know, but if I had a guess, I would say yes, it would be fine because the dealer does not hold the warranty. That is an Ineos thing.
Yeah.
Now, if it was a aftermarket extended warranty or something like that, that's not from the factory, so to speak, I could see how you might have an issue.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that popped in my head, especially as I was thinking about people buying internationally and shipping things around. It's like, how do you navigate that? So it's a question that we'll pose to Ineos themselves and see what they come back with. I mean, they have to, because people are doing this.
Well, and you know what goes along with that? If you go back a while, and I forget who, somebody said on the board that they had purchased a European vehicle. I don't remember if it was BMW or Volvo or whatever. Flew to that country, bought it there, shipped it here, and it was cheaper than if they had bought it here.
Yeah, that was a thing where some companies do this incentive where you essentially buy it from the factory. So you buy it out of the dealer network, have it delivered at the factory, do whatever tour you're going to do, and then send it home. And then part of your initial sale and everything includes the import duties, as I just mentioned.
Yeah.
And it's being built to an American spec, so it's federalized.
Right. Instead of it coming onto a boat, off a boat to a dealer, it comes out of the factory into your hands.
Because as we know here, it has to have the sticker that says, it's all the warning stuff is slightly different in each market.
Right. And I assume that that's when they get here, they have to add all that stuff here, I would imagine.
I have no idea. When I go down and pick mine up, I'll ask them.
I don't know when this will air, but right now it is Sunday, the 19th of November.
Yes, it is. The day after the terrible Formula One Grand Prix in Vegas.
Correct. Actually,
at the Home Depot car park.
It's the same day. Well, for me it is, because it didn't get over till 2:30 in the morning.
I'm glad that it was yesterday because I feel like having a sleep. I sort of washed myself of it. I did feel a little bit solid. I'm like, I don't particularly like Vegas. I always feel dirty when I leave there. And that was extending through the TV to me last night as I was watching the Grand Prix. I think that's possibly part of the reason why I switched.
Well, again, and
anyway,
Kylie Minogue, who I assume was extremely attractive about 40 years ago. Why is she there?
She's a singer-songwriter person.
Correct. But let's put this into context. She
did a song called The Locomotion.
Okay. Which was a remake of a song from the 60s.
That's right.
How many Americans have ever heard of Kylie Minogue?
I do not know. But a lot more do now because she was on the Formula One.
Correct. But prior to that, no. I mean, seriously.
Australia, she's pretty famous, and the same in the UK and stuff.
Right, because she's British, right?
No, she's Australian.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, same thing. Well, regardless, it doesn't seem like with all the money they spent to do the whole, and I know we're going back to it, but like all the money they spent, they wanted to make it this huge spectacle. And Donny Osmond singing the national anthem, and they're interviewing Kylie Minogue.
Yeah, I mean, an interesting side point to that. There's one of my friends used to work for a particularly wealthy Indian family, and the daughter got married, and they rented Versailles for the marriage ceremony in Paris. And it's quite a large building. And Kylie Minogue, they got to do the concert after the wedding, and the fee for the concert was a straight $1 million. That's how much it was. She was the wedding singer. It cost them $1 million. So there you go. You got a wedding singer doing a
I don't know.
F1.
All right,
it was a crazy eclectic thing, and it was always going to be that way. I'm just sad that Siegfried and Roy aren't around anymore, because that would have been great to see those guys walking around the pits. Can you imagine the paddock walk with the Tigers?
It's so
imagine
funny.
if Liberace was still alive. That would have been hilarious.
It's so
They'd have
funny.
wheeled him out with his chandeliers and his piano.
I had the very same thought. The livery on the AlphaTauri cars wasn't quite a tiger pattern, but it made me think of that, which then made me think of Siegfried and Roy, which then made me have the thought you're having right now. It would have been quite interesting.
Did any of the drivers go down the full-on rhinestone route? Was any of the? Please tell me that one of them was dressed up as an Elvis.
Well, Verstappen's...
He got married, right?
His fire suit was Elvis-esque.
Oh my God, I love this. See, that's the good stuff.
I'm sure we could find a picture of it, but yes. And I don't think he didn't wear it for practice and for qualifying. He wore a normal one, but then the one he came out in last night was a little more Elvis-ish.
Did he say and thank you very much?
No, but they played Viva Las Vegas.
Every time I hear that song, I think of The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, I could see that.
After Bunny's had her toe cut off and she's driving down to Malibu in the XJS convertible, bright red. I always fancied an XJS. The high compression one with a Fireball engine.
Here in the States, Jaguar's place is very different.
That would be Jaguar.
Yeah, like I said, Jaguar. The E-Type is eternally beautiful.
I'd love to electrify one. Get an absolute beater and just do it.
Do you remember that? Well, it was an electric one. When Top Gear did the Eagle Speed.
That's very, very, very pretty. But I'd do it as a real ratty one. So it'd be the rat type, is what I call it on the back. The electric rat type. As long as it's got a 100-mile range, that's enough. It's just to go down to the shops and cruise around a little bit.
A friend of mine from my Land Rover club,
deeply embarrassed by me taking them to school in it.
He has a sort of Frankenstein Range Rover Classic that he put a diesel in and stuff, and he found letters, and so the badge in the back, instead of saying Range Rover, says Strange Rover, but it looks pretty good because the letters he got sort of work. So Frank, I don't know if you're listening to the podcast. I texted it to you. The Strange Rover. Got a little plug.
Love it.
All right. So your spec is spec'd. We know your spec now.
It was built in August.
Are you sure?
That's what I was told.
Because I didn't think the first ones for North America came until September 12th.
I know, and this is where the timeline's a little bit peculiar for me, because I was told by somebody that should know the truth of when things were built.
Okay.
Whether that's the VIN was assigned to the chassis in August.
Yeah. Okay. That would make more sense.
That could be it. And apparently I'm going to get it before Christmas.
If I knew, like, the day before I get to go pick mine up, regardless of what day of the week it is, whether it's a Tuesday or a Saturday, there's no way I'm sleeping at all. I'm just not. I am a 47-year-old person who still can't sleep well on Christmas Eve. Still.
What sort of Christmas presents do you get?
Well, regardless, it doesn't matter. I know half my presents. I mean, it's not because I don't have children. It's not like we do that part. It's just I can't sleep.
This is the slightly different lifestyle and existence that we have. So last Christmas, Santa or Father Christmas decided to drop off a massive kids' playhouse in the backyard. It takes up a quarter of the yard or the garden if you're anywhere other than North America. And
was it assembled already? Santa totally hooked you up, or did he just drop the box off and left?
Well, as far as the children are concerned, Santa brought this on a single delivery, pal finger, and he dropped it from his sleigh in the backyard on the grass. So Santa's little helper had to start constructing that in real time. I had to get a load of floodlights, and then I was building this thing. I started at 6:30, and I think I finished at 2 a.m.
It's a lot of work.
Came inside. Obviously, I'm wired after doing a job like that. So it was 3 o'clock before I fell asleep. I just sat there listening to a podcast. Not this one. Obviously.
This one will put you to sleep.
That's what I needed. And I think I listened to something about Sasquatch, which I find hilarious. Those people going out and hitting trees with sticks. I don't know why. I'm just morbidly fascinated with that stuff. Anyway, did that, had a beer, went to bed, and then the kids were up at 5:30. So I basically got 2.5 hours sleep on Christmas Eve. And then we cooked the full British Christmas Day meal, which is very, very similar to a Thanksgiving thing, but a little bit better, I think.
Because it's beef, right?
It's whatever you want. I did a standing rib roast last year.
Oh, very nice. Well, if I may be so indulgent to share a little story, because as you know, that's what I do. So my friend Nick is Welsh. He grew up north of Cardiff in Pentair, I think is how you say it.
It's not, but it doesn't matter.
Well, anyway. So Nick, the way we met, he was an exchange student at Penn State University, my alma mater. And at the time, I was the photojournalism instructor for the college newspaper. And Nick is a photographer. So that's how we met. And there were it was the student paper at Penn State, the Daily Collegian, is 99% student run. Everything. Students do everything.
And the editorial?
Everything.
Wow.
They sell the ads, they do everything. But there are a couple key adults who are part of the system, like I was. I was
the way you say adults, it's like, how old are you in university in America?
Yeah. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. But
adult. Oh, okay. All right.
So anyway.
It's a turn of phrase. I still find it incredible that they maintain people in childhood as long as possible in this country.
Yeah. Well, so Nick, we're hanging out in the photo department. Nick is there, and there's a woman who, a quote unquote grown up, her daughter would get out of school at I don't remember times, but let's say her daughter got out of school at 2:30, and Sherry worked until 3. So her daughter would come to the paper and hang out for that 20 minutes, half hour. So Nick was there, and I forget the daughter's name. She comes in, and they're talking, and the girl says, she acknowledges, obviously he has an accent, and he says where he's from and everything. And she said something effective. Wait. Are you like a pilgrim? Now this girl's probably 8, 9 years old. And Nick, with dead honesty, paused and said, wait, am I a pilgrim? And meant it totally, 100%. It was a quality moment of, how kids just say the truth kind of thing.
Yeah, the filter is
perfect, the way it
pretty unique. Yeah.
So Nick Moorish, if you're listening, nope, you're not a pilgrim, buddy. So yeah, Thanksgiving, that's good. Well, wait, what if? So I don't know. In a conversation that existed somewhere, someday, that was potentially off the record, there was speculation deliveries would happen in 2023.
Yeah.
But a holiday was thrown around as a target.
That's right.
Is it Thanksgiving? Is that the holiday that was offhandedly, slyly, subtly mentioned?
Yes. We're doing everything we can to get vehicles out before Thanksgiving.
Okay. Just saying. And Thanksgiving is Thursday, correct?
That's right. So I'm going to have to really, really, really be fast editing this to get it out.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope.
Join us next time where we find out if Ineos kept to their time frame. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.